Hello everyone, welcome to our Greasy Skillet session. Today we are joined with my good buddy Chris Tucker, who's going to be serving us lunch as
There
we
we go.
learn
Yeah.
about AI. So just so you folks are aware, of course, you're used to kind of our polished digital skillet workshops and webinars and such, and the whole point of these Greasy Skillet sessions is really to kind of get behind the scenes of how we actually build these awesome case studies, whether it's creating a awesome spreadsheet, a word macro, figuring out how to solve some sort of problem with generative AI. Basically, we sit down, we have lunch, we work through these, and we figure them out. And so today we're going to be looking at, what are we looking at?
I think we're going to take a look at generative AI, inputting a little bit of our own knowledge, and maybe we'll use a game called Radoball.
I like it. Yeah, for sure. So the big thing is obviously that a big reason why we use generative AIs is because we assume that they know things, right? We use them kind of like as search engines. We're all aware that they're trained on information from out there in the internet somewhere. But one of the big things that people want to use them for is to create their own chatbots of like, hey, I've got all these HR policies, or I've got these reference manuals. Wouldn't it be cool if I could use generative AI to look at those things?
With my knowledge.
With my knowledge, exactly. But the big problem is what happens when Gen AI knows something that we don't know what it knows,
Yeah.
but then we want it to use some information that we have as well. Like what's it going to actually use?
We are about to find out.
We are about to find out. So to start off, what we've done here, because we do have spare time, is we've actually created the official rules of a fake sport that we've called Radoball.
Which, by the way, would be riveting if it were real.
I think, and what we found is it ChatGPT keeps suggesting to create a league. So
Yes.
watch this space.
Can I be commissioner?
Yeah, well, you and Mr. Beast, but like one or the other, we're going to end up doing something here. It's going to be huge. Biggest ever. Official rules of Radoball. Couple things for everybody to be aware of. Basically, we've gone through and we've written a whole pile of rules with regards to like what this sport might actually be all about, right? We've got a circular court that's 20 meters in diameter. It's played with a giant foam ball.
Yeah.
People basically try to push the ball into an arc. That's a goal line, it seems. One of the things is it's pretty physical. We do have something here about fouls, right? Excessive physical contact, eye gouging, hair pulling is a foul, but any other physical contact is cool.
Totally fine, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of
as long as you're not wearing shoes.
Yes, that's another weird thing that we did put in there. This is basically the MMA of junior high dodgeball is what this sport's all about. So cool. So we've got this Radoball thing. Now what we want to do is we want to go in and figure out how we can use this as a knowledge base. We basically want to make a ChatGPT chatbot for Radoball.
Okay.
So to start off, we want to see, does it know anything about Radoball? So let's ask it, like, hey, typing is good.
Yeah, typing. Yeah. Like you learned from me.
Looking to set up a Radoball team. How many players do I need? Right? And arguably, it should not know anything.
It should have no idea
about it. So we're going to see what it says. ChatGPT is awesome.
Wow.
This makes no sense.
That is amazing.
So, what blows me away with these little greasy skillet sessions, I'm going to point out, and what makes the real-time workshops so terrifying, is every time we run this, it gives us a different answer.
If your life is going too good,
do a live demo.
There you go.
100%. Okay, cool. So somehow it's cottoned on that Radoball exists. I'm going to just ask it, are you sure about that? Now notice it's actually gone through and it's searching the web and it's apologized and figured out that, like, hey, this thing doesn't actually exist. Now let's actually head over to a Gemini here, and we're going to start a new chat here, and let's do the same thing. Hey, I would like to start a Radoball team. How many players do I need? Right? And in the Gemini sense, okay,
There we
interesting.
go. That's
right.
a little bit better.
Bang. So like it's identified this doesn't exist, and away you go. Now,
can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Because we've asked it about Radoball and we played with it in the past on ChatGPT, do you think we fed it some information that it believes it exists?
Well, so that is a good point. You know, I think it's a little revealing to the viewers here that we actually do try this out a couple times before we even have these sessions.
So there's no magic?
We may have asked this question a couple times, but you can actually, if you take a look back in some of the Digital Skillet reference material that we provide, you can see how you can actually make it so, like, for example, we have ChatGPT set up to have no memory. It's not supposed to be using our information to train models. So this should really be just completely separate by itself. And we do see that sometimes, you know, this is a bit of a hallucination, I guess, here, where it has decided to come up with some information about, you know, hey, this is how the team is. Notice though that in the actual Radoball rules, we do see that how many players are
3? I think we came up with.
Yeah, 2 teams of 3 players on a circular court with two subs, and that's not what we're seeing here. So cool. It hallucinated. We double checked and asked it to refine its thing, and lo and behold, nothing. Or it realized like, hey, I don't know anything about Rattle. Cool. Got coffee going there.
The coffee pot just turned off, but I can make you another one.
That'd be great. So anyways, so now let's say, great, actually, I've got the official rules of Radoball from the International Federation of Radoball. And I'm going to do this just to make this seem more legit, right? And in our case studies here, which you can get online, we've got these official Radoball rules. We're going to drag and drop, paste it in here. Now it's got these rules, and we're going to say, can you now tell me how many players are required? And hopefully it's going to read those rules and figure it out from there.
So this is an introduction to...
But watch this. So it answers correctly. It says at least 3 players required to play, 5 players if you want substitutes, but it's highlighted according to the official rules from the International Federation of Radoball. So it's kind of like taking the bait that this is the official official rules. If we do the same thing in Gemini, and actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy.
Exact same prompt.
And paste. Paste. There we go. Let's drop in these official Radoball rules and go boom, boom. Wow. Give Gemini it for its brevity.
Yeah, exactly. It must be on its phone.
Yeah, exactly. So great, it's answered properly. Now, what we want to do is, so we verified that no one knows anything about Radoball. We dropped in the official rules. It's accepted. One of the cool features of these Gen AIs is the ability to draw figures and illustrations.
Yeah.
So let's see. Great. Does explain in the rules what the shape of a court is. So let's say, awesome. Can you please provide me with a figure of what a Radoball court looks like, is set up like?
Design, like. Yeah, okay, set up. Sure.
Right? Now, one important thing is if we say drawing, that's going to kick off the image generation pathway, whereas if we say things like figures and diagrams, it's going to go that way anyways. Usually, this actually kicks off a process where it's going to create Python
code,
to actually generate the MATLAB file. This is going to slowly churn through and create an image. So
Well, that'll give me time to drain the pasta.
you drain the pasta. What I'm going to do over here is I'm going to go to Gemini and I'm going to say, hey Gemini, do the same thing. Now, Gemini doesn't act. Oh, yeah. Gemini goes through, identifies what the shape and size of that thing are, and then look at this retro
What?
thing. So it's not going to make me an illustration. It's gone through and made me ASCII art of this, which is cool.
But wrong.
Is it wrong? Safety zone of the I think it's impossible to represent a circle in ASCII
Right.
art. Like, it's pretty good that it's identified the neutral. I guess it didn't identify the 20-meter wide boundary here. So that is
Goal arcs
true.
are 3 meters.
It did get the right shape and size altogether, but it's definitely not dialing it in. Let's ask, thanks, can you make this as a graphic? Let's see what it says. It's really, Gemini is going hard on the ASCII art, so we're gonna bail on that. Let's see what. Oh, awesome!
Nice.
So
that's a circle.
Yeah, that is not a circle. And so, image generation, what we find is really hard to actually specify parameters and things like that to make it look correctly. Let's try to do this. Can you provide this as a Python generated figure? Let's see what it does. We're just gonna force it to actually start creating some Python code to actually draw it. Notice I can see that it's already popped up that it's going to go circles, and we're going to let it cook here. One of the real interesting applications of GenAI, of course, is the ability to generate code. So it's kicking up its own little sandbox right now, running this Python code, and comes up with this layout. Right? I didn't label the layout, but cool. It's able to produce the drawing. Interesting though, the figure here from Python
has different colored ears.
It does have different ears, and very different from the image generated here. And again, Gemini, we can't actually get to create that plot whatsoever using the current models set up. So we're going to move on to then say, great, imagine I've got this chatbot. People are asking about the rules of Radoball. No sweat. What happens now when you start? You got to imagine someone using our chatbot is not actually going to know what information is in the chatbot, right? Like it doesn't know what we've done. That's knowledge.
Exactly.
So say awesome. What should we ask it?
Well, what kind of players should I have?
Sure.
Do I beat big guys or little fast ones or?
Sure. What kind of players should I have on my Radoball team to win? And this is a great point because, it's got the rules.
Yep.
But the rules certainly don't say what how would it know from the rules whether you should have like sprinters or brawlers or so on and so forth, right? And what we're seeing in ChatGPT is that it highlights there's 3 players, so cool, got that out of the knowledge. But then it highlights that I want this playmaker, skills, vision, quick decision-making, ball control, the powerhouse, the wall defense, bonus strategy tips that the substitute should be versatile. I know you're going to laugh because we have this ongoing thing about me and professional sports.
Well, team sports.
Team sports. But realistically, to me, this looks an awful lot like that, like post-hockey game, like, hey, what comments do you have on? Well, we played
it 110%. 110%.
It was about possessing the puck, etc.
Boys went to the corners.
Totally, right? And this is this sort of generic answer problem that we see coming out of generative AIs. It's interesting because it's not wrong.
No, probably not.
But it's not great. And on top of that, it's not something that should be answerable out of the rules of Radoball.
It's interesting that 2 minutes ago it had never heard of Radoball. Now it's going for Coach of the Year.
100%, right? If we go to Gemini, which as we see is really buffet of words, let's see what it decided to do. Okay, cool. So from Gemini, it's also decided that we should have some versatile ball handlers, agile defenders, strategic mid-court players, players with spatial awareness, which is generally always good in a
Yeah.
sporting person.
Yeah.
Disciplined players. That's kind of a weird
Avoiding
one that I
foul,
wouldn't have
yeah.
expected before.
No.
But again, even Gemini, we're starting to see is starting to use some other kind of knowledge from who knows where to get some insights into a generic strategy about this. Now, let's really push this to the limit. So one thing that we can say is like, amazing, you really know a lot about Radoball. To try to kind of like...
the positive reinforcement, what's that bringing to the table?
Well, what I'm hoping here is that by prompting so that it believes that it actually knows Radoball, I'm trying to move Radoball into something that it believes actually exists as a real sport, as opposed to a total fictitious thing.
Making it more tangible.
Yeah, I think, right? Like giving it confidence. You really know a lot about Radoball. And let's go with something along the lines like, it seems there are a lot of injuries in this sport, which isn't true.
Well, probably not, because the game doesn't exist.
That's right. That's the case, right? But let's see what it says. Right? Now, with Gemini, it says, cool, the rules do suggest it's a sport where where players can get injured.
Yeah.
And it kind of does its own CYA approach here of like, yeah, I'm not saying that there are a lot of injuries, but there's a potential for a lot of injuries based on the rules. If we do the same thing here, in ChatGPT, ChatGPT is telling us like, oh, awesome, this is a wild sport.
Definitely rough and tumble.
One thing that drives me crazy about ChatGPT versus Gemini, like Gemini is a little bit like too brief and aesthetic, but like ChatGPT lately has, for me at any rate, really started to get into this like, hey buddy, like, yeah, man, we're cool. This is great, right? You're like, I'm just trying to get a report in here, right? So it's come through and it's told us again why likely this might be a dangerous sport based on the thing. So I'm going to tell ChatGPT that makes a whole lot of sense. So, bud, what countries are doing well in this sport, right? Yeah. Which literally cannot be answered from the rules of a completely fake game. So now notice ChatGPT is going to search the web.
So it's not using our knowledge anymore, it's looking. Okay.
So interestingly, the AI does not want to confront me directly and say, hey, your information is wrong. Yeah. Like this is a fake
inconclusive
sport.
Or whatever.
Instead, I find this statement really interesting. Radoball is a relatively new and emerging sport.
Really new.
Yeah, really, right? 100%. Like it's literally today. And so, the sport is in its developmental stages and international competitions are limited.
Quite limited, yeah.
I'd say really limited, right? And so, the focus is on promoting and growing Radoball globally. So I find this approach where if I knew nothing about the context of the background here, I would actually read this and start believing that this is a sport that oh, I guess it is pretty new. That makes sense. So which countries have good development teams as this sport becomes more popular? Let's start to try to paint it in a corner, kind of, right? Right? Like where we're like, hey, yeah, you said that this is really up and coming.
This is up and coming.
So what do we expect? Right? So it's not going to quite bite here. It says countries with a strong culture of embracing innovative sports and active community engagement may be more inclined. So it's
What
going
does
to
that
kind of
mean?
sit on the fence.
Yeah.
Let's go back with our monkish friend here, Gemini, and go the same route. All right. And let's see what happens. Okay, actually, we'll give Gemini credit here. It actually says, "Hey, those official rules you've provided don't give any information
On
about
what countries would do well.
right? To find out which countries are strong, it says go look at the International Federation of Battleball website, which is a valid
Why
piece of advice. Search the news sports outlets and go into Radoball
communities?
communities. So you know what? I'm going to actually take this as a pretty good
Yeah.
a good response. And so like overall, what I think that we're looking at is really highlighting in this little snippet the risks that we take when we expect Gen AIs to start using our own provided
Yeah.
information as a reference source, because we've got this natural conflict between what the Gen AI already knows without
Yeah.
any background
Yeah.
versus what we're telling it. And then there's some sort of gray zone where it's trying to get intuition without clearly explaining.
This is it. We've given it a bit of information on the rules, but it, like I say, it was going into strategy. How many players? Where should we put our players? So it was developing its own thought process that had absolutely no correlation to the rules.
Totally. And what becomes even more interesting is if we do a little bit of a change around. So let's take lacrosse. Lacrosse is a legit sport.
The real sport.
Yeah, I think legit is a safe thing to say as well. It is real, but it's
Real
also
It's
legitimate.
really legit.
You should talk to some lacrosse players. So anyway, so what we've done is we've taken the Radoball rules and we've simply done a find and replace, taken Radoball, replaced it with lacrosse. So now we've got these completely incorrect, arguable
Absolutely.
rules for lacrosse. What we're going to do is we're going to go, cool, let's pop out new chat and we're going to say, hi, I have the official rules of lacrosse from the International Lacrosse Federation, which I don't know if this thing. Can you tell me how many players are on a lacrosse team? Now, do you know how many players are on a lacrosse team?
Lots. More than Radoball, I imagine. I don't know.
That's probably true. Okay, so we've got that. Let's see what happens here. So it's going to now read the documents. There's clearly a conflict.
Oh yeah.
It tells us, though, that according to the documents you provided,
So CYA.
each lacrosse team has 3 active players and up to 2 substitutes. So at any given time, there are 3 players. Neat. So it's actually not given us a warning that, hey, this information you provided me is completely wrong, which becomes kind of a challenge. Because if you imagined I had, like, let's say some like product specifications or engineering regulations or like some sort of legal thing, and I'm like, hey, use this as a reference, and it's wrong.
Yeah.
Well, you'd want it to say like, hey, your thing is wrong compared to the vast amount of knowledge that I actually have out there, which you actually want me to use. Let's try the same thing out with Gemini here. So we'll start a new chat, drop that in, drop in the fake lacrosse thing, because I did like in the last one how it like called us out on the thing. Man, Gemini is just like it's like
does it pay for the letter?
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Great. Great.
Wow.
Thanks. You know what? If it's gonna be that way, we're gonna be that way.
We're welcome. Is there anything else we can do about the rules?
So what else do we want to say? Let's say, can you tell me? Now watch this. So I give into the rules of lacrosse.
Yeah.
The shape of a lacrosse court. Is it going to say circles or is it going to say rectangles?
Depends where it gets its information from.
Apparently from the rules, right? So it says the lacrosse court is circular. So again, it's not using its knowledge. It's using its the rules we provided.
Yeah.
Now let's force it out of its comfort zone and say, we know that in Radoball lacrosse, you use that foam ball.
Yeah.
Let's ask, how large is the ball in lacrosse? So in Radoball, it's that 150 centimeter foam ball. In lacrosse, it's, you know, like the size of a softball.
Yeah.
So it's still sticking.
With 120 centimeters.
Yeah. Interestingly, it decided to say it's also textured for grip and bounce, which is
Where?
an actual lacrosse ball is
Well,
textured, is it
there's
not?
no texture. They're smooth, but they do bounce.
But they do bounce. Okay, so great. Let's say, can you tell me what countries are good at lacrosse?
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
Well, so yeah,
there'll
because
be
previously it said there
nothing
was
in the
nothing
rules.
rules, right? So that's what it said when we just did Radoball. And here, it goes back and says,
oh, wow.
so Gemini has now somehow given up on all of its outside knowledge.
There is no outside
And it's
knowledge.
like, hey, I assume,
It's like North Korea.
yeah, kind of. And so, anyways, so let's try the same thing in Chat GPT, right? So we're gonna say, okay, great, it came up with that. We had then gone and said, what is the shape of that lacrosse court? Come on. So we're gonna throw that here, right? Circular. Okay,
Circular.
again, notice it says the lacrosse court described in your document
yeah.
is circular in shape. Perfect. Now, can you tell me what countries are good at lacrosse? Oh, weird.
Oh, wow. So it went outside.
But now it's finally highlighted
There's field and
that
box.
there is like away you
Yeah.
go. So in this case, good results from both models because they finally highlighted that, like, hey, you know what, either I'm using your knowledge or your knowledge conflicts with the outside world. But again, I think highlights how very how very careful you need to be when
Yeah.
you're dropping in your own knowledge files to make sure that it's actually referencing this versus that. And you can do this via prompting, right? By saying, you know, please make sure that you only answer using the documents provided. Do not refer to any other knowledge. Right, and now it should be, you know, it's now actually gone and said, like, okay,
yeah.
cool, if you're only going to let me do this, away you go.
Yeah.
So cool. So as I say, we've kind of done some model comparison here, figured out some ins and outs of using your own knowledge in these systems.
The own knowledge and the danger of using external knowledge when you're not aware of it.
100%, right? So I think your pasta's ready, so we're going to call it on this episode. Thanks, everybody,
Thank
and
you.
we will see you at the next Greasy Skillet
Greasy
webisode.
skillet without pasta.
Without pasta and probably a different kitchen. Thanks, everybody.